like to call this meeting of the 29th District Agricultural Association, Mother Lode Fairgrounds, to order. Can we have roll call, please?
Do the pledge?
Oh, no, we're doing roll call.
Okay. Okay. Dan Brown.
Sorry, no, you're right. See, I'm really off tonight. Mickey, can you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Now we can do roll call.
Dan Brown.
Missy Marino.
Mickey Rucker, Peggy Lee.
Jan Costa.
Steve Arrogant.
And we have a quorum. Ron Hamilton and Marin Harris are on vacation. Can we have introduction of staff?
Ken Allstott.
Kathy Mazzoli. Kim Noble.
I was going to say, where is she? Thank you. Public comment is a right granted to the public. It is reserved for items that are not listed on the agenda but under the board's jurisdiction. Please be informed that public participation under public comment will be limited to 5 minutes per speaker, and in accordance with state law, the board will not comment or otherwise consider such public comment item for business until and unless such item has been properly agendized at a future meeting. Do we have public comment? No,
Oh, I don't need it.
we have trouble with it.
Okay, but it's a good idea.
Yeah.
My name is Shirley Sarno, and I'm with the Sonora Chamber of Commerce, and I just wanted to thank the board and Ken for allowing the chamber to have the contract for the beer and wine booths for County Fair. And we were very pleased with the joint fundraiser, so we really want to thank you for allowing us to do it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment? Okay. Correspondence. Hello and greetings. On behalf of Rite Aid and our entire senior community, thank you. Your donation to our July Wellness event made it special. Because of folks like you, we gave away 4 senior tickets and 4 children's tickets. Thank you, Mother Lode Fair. Then she lists some other things that were given away. Enclosed are pictures of this month's event. In the coming year, we will have one themed party a month. Drop by and check out our new store and join in the fun. Until then, happy and healthy shopping. Lori Cole from Rite Aid. So that was nice, and we did do a donation, and so they sent us these pictures, and everyone's welcome to look. And then we received a nice thank you letter from a young man. Dear Fair Board, thank you for supporting my livestock projects. You have given me a great start on my future of showing and selling livestock. Thank you for opening tons of windows of possibilities. I'm excited to use the judge's advice in making decisions to improve my livestock even more. I will use my experience and knowledge to make next year even better. Sincerely, Eli Ingalls. So, and he had a very nice picture of his animals. So that is our correspondence. Consent calendar. All matters listed under consent calendar are considered by the Board of Directors to be routine and will be enacted in one motion by category in the order listed below. There will be no discussion of these items prior to the time of the Board of Directors votes on the motion unless a member of the board, staff, or public requests specific items to be discussed, separated, and/or removed from this section. We have approval of minutes for meeting June 28th, 2017, regular board meeting. Monthly bills and receipts, June 2017. Monthly contract report, June 2017. Do we have a motion for the consent calendar?
I make a motion the consent calendar be approved.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. In favor?
Dan Brown?
Yes.
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 Thank you, motion carries. Okay, new business, and the only thing under new business this month is that we will have a fair review meeting on August 9th, 2017 at 5:30 here in Creekside, and I strongly urge you to let other people know that we're going to have this review, because we want to hear everything, opinions about the fair, good and bad. You know, what we want to make sure that next year's fair is better. We can always improve. And I'm not sure what we can do about the weather, but we would like to make that discussion of the fair August 9th, 2017.
Can we put-
5:30.
Can we either put an ad in the paper or an article in the paper?
Oh, okay,
I mean, if you want to get people here, that's
Yep.
the way to do it.
okay.
And also,
What time is it? 5:30?
5:30.
and anyone that has correspondence that they want to send it in ahead of time and address it to myself or to the board president, that way it can be out ahead of time and be reviewed, and so that they've had time to think about some of those things that might come up, so.
Or if you can't make it to the meeting, too.
You can also.
Either way.
Yeah.
Missy, I will not be able to attend. I will be in Salt Lake City that week. Sorry about it.
Mr. World Traveler. Okay.
Lizzie,
Yes.
what's the format of that meeting going to be?
It's going to be broken down by different areas of concern about the fair, starting with date, time, how many days, different
Yeah.
areas.
Yeah, I'll answer that. So it'll have categories, 10, 12 categories, and the first one obviously is the date, because that's the most important thing, to set those dates for next year. And then it'll go into different areas, whether it's livestock, carnival, security, ticketing, pricing, those type of things. And so we welcome the community's response from that, so that the board can make better decisions on it and hear input from different areas. Yeah.
That could be a long meeting.
Yes.
Oh.
It could be a very long meeting, but we will have the agenda on the website so that you'll be able to see that. But yeah, we want input. It's the only way we're going to make it better.
Can we also put that in the paper, the agenda?
If they'll, yeah.
Yeah, if they'll post it, yeah.
Maybe it would be helpful if you did a letter to the editor or a little op-ed piece, saying we really want to hear, make it positive.
Yeah.
We really want to hear from people. And I just want to say, I've been really appalled. I don't have Facebook and all that other stuff, so I can only read the public stuff. But there's been a letter to the editor, there's been all these little postings for people who didn't even come here and are making all these really, some of them I thought were pretty snarky, a couple of them were nasty, and I don't see how that contributes to the conversation, but yet it's out there.
Right, so all we could do is invite them to come
Yes.
and hopefully address their concerns.
And maybe one of you needs to go down at 9 o'clock and meet with Mark Truckner and the newsmaker of the day and talk about this meeting.
Okay. Okay, old business. Fair Board purchase of this at the small livestock auction. I handed out invoices for those who didn't receive it, and we bought rabbits, and we were donating them back to the benefit auction, and somehow there was a little error, and they didn't get sold again, but the young person who had raised them was overjoyed to get them back and use as part of her breeding project. So I thought that was really a good thing. So we did go through with the purchase. Okay, resolutions, Jan?
We need a resolution for the check signers,
Okay.
and I think we need resolutions for anything that's changed on the bylaws. And I don't have that. All I remember at this point is the one on the check writers.
Okay, were you prepared to make that resolution tonight?
Yes, we should. if-
Okay.
Yeah, because you're going ahead with the check writers, and we have to have that.
Okay.
And I gave Kathy a new updated accounting manual. The one in the office, I think, was from 1968, and there's one that's like 2015 or something. So Kathy has that out, and it does have the resolution in it and how it has to be written. And
Okay.
it has a number of resolutions and how they have to be written.
Okay, so we don't actually have that tonight then? Were you prepared to make a
Well,
motion for?
I was hoping that we vote on it tonight, and
Okay.
then that we do a resolution for the check signers.
Okay, so are you going to make a motion?
Okay, I'll make a motion that we do a resolution, and as an example in the accounting manual, for the check signers.
Can we have a comment?
Can we hold for just
Okay.
a second here in the pause, and I'm going to see if I can't bring that language up real quick.
Okay.
Okay. In the past, when we've gone to do a resolution, we've usually had that
Yeah.
already all written out to go. And I apologize, I thought you had that for tonight.
Why didn't we have it before when we did the resolution?
So we did a resolution for the check signers that then we had to change it again because Tom Miller was removed from the board. And when I had gone to the bank, they said, oh, we don't need a resolution, we just need your minutes. And so I had not properly thought that through and done the resolution as well. So I apologize.
I think all of us need to read the accounting manual. It had a few
Well, it
surprises
was
for me.
actually in our bylaws, because I went back and read it later. And so that's, that's why that happened the way it did. Are you able to find that?
I thought we had a sample of the resolution that we just had to change the
I think,
names on.
Ken, if you go to the appendix in the back
Uh-huh.
of the accounting manual, it'll say resolutions, I think.
And the other resolutions that you're referring to are ones that you're going to be looking at your policy and procedures meeting that will be coming up. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. But basically, we need a resolution that authorizes check signers for 4 accounts. And the check signers are myself, Ken, Ron Hamilton, and Steve.
What's the next item on the agenda?
We're into committee reports.
Okay.
Do you want to come back to this?
Yeah, why don't we come back to this? It's still downloading. I think maybe because it's a large manual. But I think we can, yeah.
Well, I think we do have a resolution before when we had check signers.
Yes.
And so, worst comes to worst, we can use that, changing the.
Well, yes, we can. It's just
Yeah.
that tonight, for right now,
Yeah.
if you want this resolution to go forward tonight, we need to know.
Well, we should if we're going to have.
Okay,
check
so
signers.
he's going to continue looking. Let's go on to committee reports. Since he's looking and may have some info, we're going to start at the bottom with livestock.
Well, thanks.
The bottom of my list, sorry.
Item E.
Item E, if I do it properly.
Sure, Item E. Had a record-breaking sale, a lot of very happy exhibitors this year. A few minor issues that Ken and I have already talked about, and some additions for next year.
Can you give us that number on the sale?
Like 361,000 something.
And $64.
And then on the small animal sale on Sunday?
What was small?
It was
We had
37.
It was 37,725. We had one lot less than last year and about $200 difference. So we were even with last year, which we were pleased with because there were a lot of goats and a lot of market chickens. We always just kind of keep our fingers crossed that the kids have done their marketing and brought in the buyers. So,
I didn't get their names. Could I have the two names there?
Kim Helmbold, who is our livestock superintendent.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Sue Moore.
It's her department.
Sue Moore
I'm
is one.
president of the Small Livestock Association. We put on the small livestock auction.
Yes.
Okay, and the other person, what did you say?
Kim Helmbold.
Kim Household?
Helmbold.
Oh, no, I got Kim Humboldt, but who's the other person?
I'm
Sue
Sue
Moore.
Moore.
Moore,
And
got it.
I'm
Is
from
it
the small,
M-O-O-R-E?
yes, from the
Okay.
Small Livestock Association.
Great.
And we volunteer with Kim's department.
Right.
Okay. Building and grounds, do you have anything to report?
Well, we didn't hold a committee meeting, but we received a bid for the Sierra building, and we are attempting to get some more bids because we aren't sure that one is accurate.
Okay, and that's for the roof,
That's for the roof, yes.
And which building?
Sierra building. And it was quite high.
Very high.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll continue to wait for that report. Okay, and item C, exhibits and entertainment. Do you have anything to?
We did not have a meeting.
Okay. So that brings us to item B, and that's back to policy and procedures.
We didn't really have a meeting. We didn't have a meeting.
Okay.
It's scheduled for tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah.
And A, finance.
Finance?
Finance.
I have extra copies of the balance sheet and accounts receivable if anybody wants them. We look good in our money-wise. We have a lot of repairs to make to the buildings to continue forward. We have $141,000 in cash operating. And we have in our department, our treasurer's account in Sacramento, the state of California, we have $60,000, and we have a money market of approximately $20,000. But if you look at our liabilities and you look at our assets, we only have $13,000 because if the fair ever closed, we would be paying our pension back. So bottom line, we have current assets of $265,000 and liabilities of $252,000 with the PERS liability. Without that, we have a lot of money. Hopefully nothing ever happens, but we need to move forward and get the leaks in the building, the 12 or 13 leaks in the Sierra building fixed before winter so it doesn't leak on people. If you look at our, and we also have an account receivable of approximately $1,159, and we'll be working on those this month by attaching the franchise tax to some of those with their next tax returns. They will freeze the amount of money that's owed to us with the proper documentation forwarded to franchise tax. If you look at our comparison sheet that we asked Renee to prepare last year, it shows that every month this year we've netted money except 1 month. We were behind 1,184. We're so far ahead of the last 2 years. For instance, this month in June, we netted $24,766 in positive money. Last year we were minus $26,447. The year before that, we were positive $6,000, and the year before that, we were minus $9,000. So overall, if you look at where we are this year, we're $82,000 in the positive. And it's hard to determine that last year because at the end of the year, we ended up 33,000 positive, but that's because the last 4 or 5 months we caught up. So we're doing really well this year, and with our money that we're bringing in, we should do even better this year. But we have to remember that we have a lot of things that need to be done with the buildings and the exteriors, etc. Before we go forward, sure.
Hey, can you give me an update on where we are on the payments for the livestock sales coming in?
I don't see that.
Okay.
I only see the general ledger, and the general ledger, when I saw it, it didn't include the fair. Missy could probably answer that.
So the payments have been coming in pretty steadily from the buyers, but our biggest buyer has not yet sent their check, and until that happens, we cannot pay out the premiums. So we're hoping that we have that check next week, not positive. In the past, they've cut checks on the 25th, correct, Kathy? So if that's the case, then we could have it next week. So, and we
get an update at our meeting on Monday night on what's left outstanding.
possibly.
Thank you.
Possibly.
Possible.
Yeah, okay. That's, so, but we've been busy getting it all ready so that it could get mailed out as soon as possible.
And if anybody would like to have copies of the reports, I have them.
Okay, it sounds like we're close here on our resolution.
I'm sure it is, but there's 285 pages.
There's so many things in there. Ken only has the delegation of authority, but it's like
It's the same formula.
It's like 325 pages long, so I don't think
Yeah.
we want to wait tonight for him to look for it.
If we want to continue on, and if I can come across that.
Well, we're at your report right
Okay.
now, so.
Okay. So for the CEO report, right now we're wrapping up the fair accounts, and I believe we're probably somewhere close around 95% of that done, of knowing both the revenue and the expenses. And now it's just going through fine tuning some things, and so we're still receiving things daily. And some of those factors of why it maybe takes a little bit longer, I'll give some examples like Save Mart. Save Mart's a company that does a pre-sale, and so the tickets were given to them back in May. They do the pre-sales, they do their inventory sheets, it goes back to their headquarters in Modesto. Well, with our new admissions auditor this year, we actually picked up one of the stores. So now we found that out today, so now we have to send it back to them so the auditing department can do their books and send it back. So once we receive those numbers, we know what they are, and then we invoice for those. So those are certain factors that we can't control that take a little bit longer. The nice thing is right now is we have those reports in our possessions. It's just the bookkeeping part has to be finished now. For instance, the chamber was able to turn in their stuff today, and thank you for that. And that was an increase over last year. So there's a lot of working part, but those things are coming in. But I'm very confident that we're going to be able to close out almost all the books here by July 31st. So at least we'll know if there's any aging reports or things of that nature to still collect. A couple of the vendors, we've got those clarified, and they were notified this week also. So I think you'll have a real good understanding, the board and the community, by the end of August, and there won't be any doubts of what's left out there. We have the carnival report, which you didn't get until later in the fall last year, and that's already on site, and we have those numbers and things. So I think you'll be able to, we will as a whole unit be able to report that and be very accurate here by the end of August. The other item is right now we're working on a campground host replacement. Our campground host gave us notification that they were terminating their contract right before fair. And so there's a website, and then I have 2 applications that have been received right now too. And so obviously if there's, of any people in the communities or relatives that want to come visit Sonora on a year-round basis and get a place to leave for free, all we ask is that they do a little work for us on the side and collect money. So that's run around good. One of the other projects that would be going to the Buildings Committee is a lighting replacement for buildings, and so we're looking at the buildings for lighting replacements, and then we also received a rebate request from PG&E, and we actually have one light on a light pole out here at our main entrance. That's a PG&E, that's on a separate account, but they've offered us a free LED lighting on an upgrade on that. And then coming up here in August, we'll have a state compliance that will be done. In the past, through Food and Ag, you had, every other year, you had a state compliance audit. And then the even years and the odd years was an actual book audit. And so that changed about 6 or 7 years ago when funding was cut to fairs and who could afford it. So in the past, the fairs had to do an audit every other year and turned in. So the compliance audits are coming back into place, and we're going to be one of the first locations for that. That's a good thing because it will tell us things that we're missing out on, and it's our job to go in there and correct those items and make those changes and stuff. And so, for instance, the accounting manual would have been something that they probably would have picked up on, but we know ahead of time now, and we have it, and it's a good reference to go back to, and it covers so many things, not just what you would think of as accounting, but it gets into employees, their categories, and different things like that, so it covers a broad range of items. So this compliance audit will be good. I'm guessing they do the audit in a week. They write up the reports and stuff, and of course, it's like one person to do 16 fairs, so it might take several months to get that report back, but I think we would have it by the end of the year, and then we'll share that with the community and make the changes, the recommendations that are done in the compliance audit.
Okay. Okay, I don't have much of a report other than to say that our fair staff here is pretty amazing, and all of the volunteers as well, but the fair staff just works themselves right into the ground sometimes, and I appreciate it very much. Did a great job. Matters of information, Friends of the Mother Lode Fairgrounds report.
All right, I'm Bart Bloom with the Friends of the Lode Fairgrounds. So at the fair, we had a raffle. We raffled off a Yeti cooler donated by Orchard Supply Hardware. We raised about $1,040 with that, so that went pretty well. We also sold about $500 worth of bricks to Leslie Heavy Duty Trucking. It was a commercial deal. And Mary Hansen had the idea we take the bigger paver, put the company name on it, and surround it by blank smaller bricks. So anyway, that was done for $250 each. And let's see, the next event that the Friends has planned at this time is the shopping extravaganza. It's the first weekend of November, and this will be, I think, the third year. Our next Friends meeting is August 10th at 5:15 in this room. Thank you.
Didn't Shelley say she's also planning a wine tasting event at the shopping expo?
She's trying to expand that and have some wine tasting at the same time, and some more food available, and a little bit of entertainment up on the stage. She's going to have the John Muir building, I believe.
Okay, yeah. Serving wine, getting those pocketbooks a little flexible, you know. When you drink the wine, you have to spend more money.
Probably give the wine would be a good idea.
Thank you. Director's comments, Dan?
Again, I'd like to thank everyone that's here for attending. Their interest in the fair and the fairgrounds is really appreciated by the board. Comments about the fair, because I had my 6-year-old grandson with me, we came in here a couple times, and the comments that I heard from other parents were just terrific. They really loved this situation in here that we had. I thought that the other buildings were done well. I think we need, except for the Manzanita building, we need to rethink what we're going to do down there. Mm-hmm. So those will be things that we'll discuss in our August 9th meeting. But that would be all of my comments.
Okay, Mickey?
I really don't have any comments tonight.
No comments.
Quiet tonight.
Peggy?
I'd like to thank everyone for coming. I'm glad to see we keep having a little few more every time. I'd like to thank the chamber. Thank you very much, and the vets for checking people in, and I hope that you come to the August 9th meeting. It's important that we...
Wish I'll be at your...
Oh, that's our
It's important that we talk about how are we going to upgrade the fair. It's really important.
Or send your notes. Jan?
Thank you all for coming, and I think the fair, in my opinion, from what I heard, except for a few instances, everybody thought it was better than last year, and that was a good thing. So we'll just keep improving from there.
Steve?
And I'm just writing a bunch of notes here. I'm the temporary note keeper today, or minutes taker. But thank you very much. I am impressed with the community involvement and interest. I've been on a couple of different fairs, different boards, and it's really refreshing to see how you guys do and the interest. Thank you.
And I'd like to thank Steve for stepping up and being our secretary tonight and taking the minutes. How are we doing?
Good. So I'd like to chime in also under the
Okay.
direct response, since I don't really get a place to say anything, is that I'd like to personally thank the staff here at the fairgrounds, along with Peggy and her team. I know Dan was out there and other members volunteering for the flowers that were planted that we still have here today. Even the members for the Red Cross shelter that we're running here right now have said how nice those look. But back to the staff, that the staff stuck through the last year here, and they were the glue of this fairgrounds. And Kathy in the office, and recently Stephanie, Kim there in the livestock department, Mike Bowers, who has retired. He retired officially last Friday for probably his 8th time. And Dennis, who came back and helped, and all the other people. And then I also know in the livestock department there was very many people, the contractors back there with Daleen and Kayla and Bailey and them too. And so I say thank you for that. And I do include all those people, even the volunteers, as staff. And they just did a great job. And the most important thing is that even though the fair is over, that the fairgrounds interim calendar is so strong right now, and that the presence and being able to open up to communities such as a disaster that just occurred here is that we want to continue to strive to make that better. And it's the staff that started, last July, last August, September, and kept it going to this point here. So if they weren't recognized for the last 12 months, I say thank you for all those months in past, because the financial reports, the conditions of the buildings and things was all done. It takes two entities. It takes money, and it still takes the staff to make that work. And so thank you from me, and I'm also grateful for my friends out there in the fair industry that came and helped out during fair, and thank you to them if they get to read these minutes or get to watch it on TV. So, okay.
All right. Thank you.
And back to item.
Okay, so we are back to new business, item B, the resolution.
Okay, so under 18.33, the accounting manual, it says check signing authorization. The board should decide the number of signatures necessary for checks up to $15,000, and require that 2 persons must sign the checks for the amount above $15,000. I would need to check on that, because I know that banks only require 1 signature now, and I don't believe that, I think that this has been done away with, because I know on the state treasury, for the state of California, that doesn't require 2 signatures above $15,000, so I would check on that. It says the resolution should contain the names and positions of all persons authorized to sign the checks, and list the accounts that are affected. If the criteria does differ, prepare a separate resolution for investments accounts. And we do have 1 market account, so we would need that under a separate resolution. Every officer or employee whose facsimile signature is used on any instrument of payment must file his or her manual signature, certified and notarized with the Secretary of State. And I was not aware of that, so we'd have to check on that. It says the officers and employees are responsible for safeguards, precluding improper or unauthorized use of facsimile signatures. So there's no actual form to go on here, just these guidelines. So I would recommend that we move this over to next month, and we'll create the language for the resolution. I'll check into the 2 signatures, and then I'll also check on the notarization.
Thank you very much.
And you have a question from the...
No, I was just gonna say, I know for Emblem, because we deal with the same bank you guys deal, we have to write it in our minutes. We have to say who's to be taken off with each account and who's to be put in.
Which we did.
With each account, so.
Yeah.
They're specific, they asked for.
Right, and so basically, the resolution is going to have all of that except for the taking off part, I believe, because that's,
They required us to have, we want to take it off in our minutes.
so they, because they didn't want a resolution, they only wanted the minutes, and so it was in the minutes.
Fairs have to
It
have resolutions.
The bank was real picky that they wanted specifically that it was voted on who's coming off, who was going in.
Okay, so we will bring that forward at our August meeting. Notification of upcoming board meetings. Wednesday, August 9th, 5:30 here in the Creekside. But our August 23rd meeting, we need to reschedule. Ken is taking his daughter to college a few states away. So I would like to have that on August 30th. Any discussion? Okay. So it will be on August 30th at 5:30 here in the Creekside. Can I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I make a motion that we adjourn the meeting.
I second it.
Those in favor?
Yes?
Yes, yes.
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 The meeting's adjourned. Thank you all.